Hey guys, it's Sandeep from RevAtlas and welcome to our hands-on video of the Mi TV 4X lineup from 2019. Now in this video, we'll be focusing mainly on the 65-inch variant which has the most amount of changes, but we'll also be quickly talking about the 50-inch and 43-inch variants as well. Now before we get started, please do make sure that you hit the subscribe button to ensure that you don't miss any updates from us, and also do give us a thumbs up in case you enjoy the video at the end. Now let's get started. So let me start by talking about the nomenclature, the branding itself first. So these three TVs that are being announced today will be called the Mi TV 4X itself, and you'll only have the 43, 50 and 65-inch naming attached to it at the end of the name. Now the reason they have dropped the smart TV or the LED TV etc. is that now people have more understanding of what a smart TV is, and they do know that every TV that's produced by Xiaomi is in fact a smart TV. Back when Mi TV initially was launched in India, there was this huge confusion because there were a lot of non-smart TVs on the market and a smart TV also. Now I think 90% if not close to 100% of the TVs that are coming out are in fact smart. So they wanted to make the naming scheme more simple, more easy for people to follow and even understand the differences, and hence this change. So Xiaomi invited us to their office to check out their brand new TVs, and the 65-inch in fact is quite a bit slimmer than even the 4X Pro 55-inch that is available currently, and that's because it's based on a new platform and the thickness is actually pretty impressive. Now it's not as slim as the 4 Pro or the Mi TV 4 itself, which is at 4.9 millimeters, crazy thin and almost as thin as most OLED TVs out there, but nonetheless it's still pretty great, and it's I think the flagship now in terms of the features and functions that it provides. So we'll start off by talking about the display. It's a 65-inch 4K HDR10 panel by Samsung. We loved the colors, we loved everything about it. It felt really great, and even though the screen size may not seem that much different, 55 to 65 for example, it feels a whole lot different in terms of the real life feel. On paper it seems pretty small, but the real life feel is something else, and that jump you get is huge. Now when you look at a 65-inch TV and then come back to 55, you'll think that the 55 is small. In fact, they had 55-inch mounted on the wall right behind the TV, and we couldn't help but see how much smaller the 55-inch felt in comparison to a 65-inch TV. Now the design is metallic. It has metal stand, a metal look, not exactly brushed metal but a metal frame nonetheless, and it looks pretty much in line with most other Mi TVs out there in terms of the basic look and feel itself. Now this supports wide color gamut. It also has MEMC, motion compensation and smoothing, and that is made use of from the dedicated chip itself. So this function does not get carried over to the 50 and 43 inches, but this is exclusive to the 65-inch TV itself. And another thing that's also exclusive is the audio. So although all three TVs come with 20-watt speaker setup, this one actually has technology borrowed from the soundbar itself, which gives better separation, better volume, and more spatial audio in fact, and I kind of felt the difference quite a bit. So even though I was looking at the picture and I felt impressed by it, I was more impressed by the audio itself because it was that much immersive and that much it had more depth to it. Now all the TVs also get Dolby and DTS HD technology, and apart from that there's also a vivid picture mode on the 65-inch TV, which looks great, and there is a huge difference compared to the standard profile by which comes out of the box. It's actually set to default on standard, but when you switch to vivid there is quite a bit of difference, and the wide color gamut really comes in play there. And along with the reality flow, which is what they're calling the motion smoothing effect, it makes a huge difference itself, especially when watching stuff like Planet Earth on Netflix etc. And you can even set the amount of smoothing that you want, whether you want it extra smooth, regular, or medium. And speaking of Netflix, actually that's the major change now. So Netflix and Amazon Prime is going to be preloaded on all three TVs by default. They mentioned that they are working with both the partners to kind of enable rollback onto other devices, the previous devices, and in order to make them also compatible and come with Prime and Netflix by default. But they said that Prime is most likely going to come to all the devices, but Netflix is a bit more difficult to work with. They're more technology driven, and since they can't exactly control the hardware of their existing TVs or TVs that have already been launched, Netflix might be more difficult to get them on board. But nonetheless, it seems hopeful that most of the TVs, at least within the past 1 year, should get it. Let's wait and see which comes first. Now, the other interesting aspect is that there is a data saver feature. So Xiaomi said that 75 to 80% of their Mi TV users, and that's a huge amount if you look at the total number of Mi TV sold. So 75 to 80% of people are using their hotspot from their smartphone in order to watch content online, you know. So most of us would take it for granted that everyone has a broadband connection or Wi-Fi connection at home, but that's not the case. So these people are using their smartphones to get access to internet on their TVs, and what happens is, although there's so much amount of multimedia consumed, both TV series, movies, etc., they are having to stop consuming content because they run out of data. Now, considering that Jio has plans for 1 GB or 2 GB, which is what most people take, that's still limited considering that there's so much content to watch out there, especially now with added services from Netflix and Amazon Prime. So what Xiaomi has done is they've partnered with Google to bring a new data saver feature, and this feature will eventually make its way onto other Android TVs as well, but they're launching exclusively with Xiaomi, and Xiaomi says that they work closely with Google to make this happen, and they were kind of involved quite a bit in this process. So this data saver feature essentially brings the ability to watch more content with the same amount of data. So what this could mean is two things. One, say you have 1 GB of data, you can watch up to 3 times more content with the same 1 GB of data, or what it could also allow you to do is watch, say, the same amount of content. Say 60 minutes is what you wanted to watch. Say earlier it used to take 300 MB, now it's going to take you only 100 MB, and that'll leave you with more data to use for other things. So this is a great feature that's being rolled out, especially considering that a huge amount of people are still using the hotspots for their TV. Now, the 50-inch and 43-inch TVs don't get the reality flow nor the white color gamut, but still their panels also pretty good in terms of the overall look and feel. But still, if you're looking for the highest or the best experience you can get, the 65 inch is the way to go. But of course, because there is a limit to the physical size of our homes, and based on the viewing distance that you have from the TV or the position that you intend to keep the TV, it's best to get the TV size that fits your home or the viewing distance. So if it's too big, it might strain your eyes. If it's too small, it might strain your eyes as well. So it's best to calculate that and then get the TV of your choice. So I'm not sure what the pricing is going to be, but considering that previous Mi TVs have been competitive and they were kind of the ones to drive the entire market in India, Samsung and LG brands, to kind of bring lower price models instead of the much premium price models that they were selling at earlier. I think that this TV should also be priced pretty well. I'm not sure what the pricing for these TVs are going to be, and considering that I'm recording this just the day before the launch itself, I think that I would leave a pinned comment maybe in the comment section so that you guys can see what I think of the prices, and you guys can also discuss about what you feel about the same. So that was a quick look at the brand new Mi TV 4X lineup from 2019. Let me know what you guys think. If you have any questions, do let me know in the comment section below. Thanks for watching this video. See you again in the next one.